this is Pastor Steve. Now, we've been talking about the importance of environment for several weeks, not just on here, but also in our church. Now, last week, actually the last few weeks at Destiny Christian Center, we introduced a subtopic, and the subtopic is unhealthy relationships. You know, we quite often talk about who we ought to be connected to and attached to, but I think that it's equally important that we know who not to attach ourselves to. Listen to this. There are some people who are just toxic. Now, when I say toxic, I'm just saying that they're not good for you. Now, I asked a question on Sunday, and the question is, why are we vulnerable to toxic relationships? And here's the answer. In the society that we live in, we have a lack of self-love. That's why I teach so much on how important it is that we know who we are in Christ. Because, you know, when you know who you are in Christ, you don't find your self-worth in other people. There's a lot of people who don't really value themselves, so they search for their identity in relationships. Listen to me. Because they identify themselves in other relationships, what happens is they end up tolerating stuff that they should not be tolerating. Your value is not dependent on another person. We have to learn to identify and celebrate our God-given uniqueness. Listen to me. You were fearfully and wonderfully made. God made you unique. So celebrate that. Now, I'm going to be dealing with these toxic relationships for the next couple of weeks, so I want you to stay tuned. But learn to love yourself. Fall in love with your purpose. Fall in love with who God made you. Jesus said something. He says, I want you to love your neighbor as you love yourself. In other words, you can't love anybody else until you start loving you. This is Pastor Steve. I love you. I'll see you next week. God bless.